welcome to Work TV. So today Sue and I want to talk about stop rescuing, be his Jesus or her Jesus. We wanted to talk about this topic because a lot of people in the spiritual industry tend to take this role of rescuing or try to help our loved ones, and which is not always helpful. So what do you think about this?
It's a big topic, and I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I'm going to focus on my readings from a book by a fella named Arne Ellingham, and he goes by the title Zing Dad, and he wrote the Ascension Papers. There's 3 books. The first book I'm referring to in the Ascension Papers, and he and his guides talk about this triangle of it looks like this, and on top is the rescuer, and then you have the perpetrator and you have the victim on either sides of the triangle. And the reason they give the image in a triangle is because it's, or you could even do circular. It's like a vicious circular, at some point. So you get the perpetrators doing something to the victim, right? And then the rescuer wants to come in and save the victim. And what happens is that can work for a while, but then eventually the rescuer is going to become very tired of constantly coming in and saving the victim.
Yeah.
The rescuer may even develop some resentment over the role of saving this person all the time, because not only are we giving our time, maybe even our money,
energy,
but we're giving our energy when we're trying to save somebody. Okay. And it's not an equal exchange of energy. So you don't get it replenished. You get depleted over time if you're always being the rescuer. And so as Arne describes it, and I agree 110% with this, is then what happens? So the rescuer stops rescuing. They get tired. They're fatigued. They've given all this energy and they just can't do it anymore. So now the victim, who has become accustomed, this person coming in and saving them, they start getting resentful too, because like, what do you mean you're not rescuing me? What do you mean you're not doing this you've been doing this for me all this time. Why aren't you doing it anymore? And now the rescuer almost takes on the perpetrator role in the victim's mind. The victim starts seeing the rescuer as doing something to them, doing something negative to them, because they're not rescuing anymore.
Yeah.
So now the victim is now feeling even more victimized and perpetrated against, because this one's not coming in to save me. So now there's this discord. You know why? Because the energy didn't flow. Okay. If the rescuer can step out of saving mode and into giving what they can or what they wish to do, like maybe suggestions, maybe just holding space to listen, but not trying to save, not trying to solve the problems, then the victim starts to feel their own power, maybe works through their own issues, and starts to realize that they're the ones who have to save themselves. Okay? And so in a sense, we ascend from the rest, because we want to be service to others. So it's kind of natural for us to have fallen into a rescuer role, because we've been taught, and part of our essence is just that we want to be service to others. But when we're in a rescuer role, as I said before, you're in this weird triangle, because eventually you become the perpetrator when you stop rescuing. And you're going to stop rescuing because you become tired, you depleted, your emotion, your body, your mind, all of your light bodies are out of whack, because it isn't a flow of energy back and forth. It's just energy going one way. And we can't thrive. We can't thrive as human beings having this existence by constantly giving our energy and never replenishing it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Go energy of the exchange. Well, like you talked about spiritual aspect of it, and then even in the relationship aspect, I kind of contribute on this idea that a lot of people who are in the spiritual community is like predominantly ladies, right? There's some men out there, but predominantly because we are more intuitive, we are more connected to the essence of our souls in general, right? As a feminine energy. So anyhow, when we are the one who take over this rescue role, it's kind of hard the relationship between man and woman because usually traditionally man want to be the rescuer. So when we try to rescue a man, he resists being rescued because that is not his innate 3D kind of imprinting. That's not my role. I should be the one who is rescuing you. But let's say the feminine is more spiritually awakened or something and wanted to take care of your husband problem or your boyfriend dark night of the soul or whatever that is. It usually doesn't pan out unless he decides to work on himself. So that's what I wanted to contribute in the relationship aspect. And what do you think we should be doing as a someone who is awakened when we have a people around us who need our help and we kind of come to realize we are not nobody's Jesus?
Well, I think that if we haven't been able to fully shake off that whole rescuer role yet, we're all developing in our own time. If we're not really quite ready to 100% let go of it,
Mhm.
that's okay. We have to be compassionate for ourselves,
Yeah,
but focus on replenishing, rescuing you. Okay. So, what that means, if I need to take time for myself, if I need to tell somebody no, oh, they're so used to me doing this fundraising for this group and I'm the heart and soul of the group. That
mhm.
feels really good until you're freaking exhausted.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
true. It is.
So if they say, well, we can't do this fundraiser without you, say, well, I guess we're going to have to put it off for a while because I need some time. So no, saying no and loving the self. But also, I think that it's important that we can come to the place where we say, I can't fix your problem, but I want to hear everything you have to say about it. I'm going to hold space for you. That's a very loving thing to do. If you feel that you have that space to offer. Again, we get very emotionally tired when a lot of people come to us with this problem or that problem, and sometimes we're just not in a space to be able to hold space for somebody else. And that's okay. We can say, I care. I'm sorry you're going through this right now. I'm going through something of my own.
Mhm.
And I promise I'll get back to you, just as soon as I can once I work this out for myself.
Yeah,
And because we tend to feel really guilty when we do that, right? The helper people,
yeah.
the service to other people, we tend to feel really
Mhm.
guilty when we take our own space and
Mhm.
um, have to say no. We don't like saying no. I don't think it's always been a comfortable thing for me. What about you?
I am comfortable saying no now. I used to be really bad at it because I was a people pleaser mode. But after I worked on myself and then I know about self love, I decided to put myself first in a good way. And I can say no because otherwise I can't be 100% for whoever because I'm giving 20%, whatever the left out of me, and I can't really be there, right? So you have to be there for yourself first. And then you need to have your cup full in order to help others, or cup is overflowing in order to help others. If your cup is almost like 20% or something and then you give that 20% for other people, how good can you be, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's a good point for practitioners that do energy work, that any kind of healing, any kind of healing work, is
Mhm.
that it's well, for me, it's never been about the money. So I'm going to start with that. But it's it's also about letting people down. And what I'm talking about is if I'm knee deep in shit and it's rising fast, for my own personal life, something's going on that's got my it's got my energy all wacky. I'm not going to. I'm going to have to cancel or reschedule that session. It hasn't happened, like maybe once, where it happened on both ends where we weren't in a good place. So we said, yeah, let's just reschedule, and it worked out beautifully. But I mean, even if you're overscheduling yourself with the sessions,
Yeah.
um, that'll deplete too if you're not replenishing, doing fun things. So try not to be a workaholic and try not to be so strict with making something happen. Like I very much like to be a responsible person. So if someone is counting on me, I like to be there. However, I have learned over time that if, like you said, if I've only got 20% and I'm going to turn around and give it to you, then I'm going to have nothing left over. So there are times where we might have to rearrange plans, um, re reschedule a session,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, because I don't want to be working with somebody and not be giving them my 100%.
Yeah. Also, like, I I'm not going to specify who, but someone I was following. This person was going through a heavy breakup and decided to keep on working, right? And someone like me, I can see other people's vibration. So I did see significant vibration drop from 10 to 4. And then this person gave me such a great example in front of my eyes. If you don't cherish yourself, especially when you're going through such a hard time, it's affecting what you serve for others,
Right,
you know?
right.
And
And then, yeah, absolutely, because the quality of what we're putting out there,
yeah, I mean,
our filters full of gunk, right? So it's like, how are you going to get quality information if your filter's all gunked up?
yeah, I wasn't really following him as well because I couldn't really, I was uncomfortable with his vibration. So I had to stay away until this person gets back into his regular mode. Anyhow, he's amazing right now. So the point is, he gave me such an amazing lesson, and then I felt like, wow, this was a lesson, something I can learn too. Because when I run in masculine energy, when I run the business, so I could totally see his point of view of why he wanted to run everything as if nothing ever happened. I could totally see that.
Yeah, that whole pick yourself up by your bootstraps and make it happen, right? Keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
Keep
yeah.
going at any cost. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I did learn the lesson from him, and then I was like, it's a very good idea to give yourself a break, especially when you are having a hard time, no matter what is the hard time is. So I personally don't channel when I'm not in the good emotional state because I don't even know how clear I can be. Even though that
Yeah.
is not what I serve for my client, this is for the YouTube entertainment only. But I don't channel even for that.
I do channel sometimes, mostly for myself, my own purposes, but I do feel that the channels are my ability to connect are definitely affected by my emotional and, my physical states, my mental states. How could they not be? It's all energy. I wanted to shift to another point about being a rescuer that we haven't
Mhm.
talked about yet, and I think what we've been talking about self care and the rescuer role, and that's really good, great. But I want to talk about what we're taking away from the person we're trying to rescue.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So I'll just start by saying that um, if we consider somebody outside of ourselves not capable of helping themselves, that's what we're basically saying when we come into rescue is like, oh, you're, and it's a very different dynamic between holding space and helping somebody, providing a service to somebody, and rescuing. So
Mhm.
that's where you just keep giving, 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 and you're trying to prevent them from having some kind of outcome. And what that does is that kind of um, you're trying to prevent them from experiencing life
Mhm.
according to their soul contract, what their soul came here to learn. So, I mean, maybe their soul intended to go through some difficult times because they're going to benefit from it in some way. They're going to realize their own power. They're going to realize that they do have the capability of creating whatever they set their heart and mind to, and start taking steps towards doing that. We can only know our own power by exercising our own power. If somebody keeps coming in and rescuing and preventing somebody from feeling any kind of consequences to their decisions and their behavior or what's happening in their life, or even experience, we're trying to buffer it for them so they don't feel it at all. Like I can think of, husbands, family members, children. We try to do that because
Mhm.
it's natural. We don't want them to be in pain. But what if they need to go through that pain
Yeah.
in order to grow?
Mhm.
Any
That's a
thoughts?
really good point. Because I was reading a book the other day and talking about similar thing. Like parents try to make some of the kids avoid going through some pain, like a feeling of failure. So
Mhm.
they try to give a participation prize at school. But the book I was reading, he was talking about that is not helpful because you have to go through this kind of pain and this kind of emotions because you're going to go through it anyways in the future. The way are you think you're helping to make them not to feel it at a young age, but after you go through the same pain when they become adults, they don't know how to deal with it. So that's like a giving disservice to
Mhm.
the kid, you know, after
Yeah.
they grow up. So I was like, oh, that's totally makes sense. And then it's the same thing in the ascension process. I'm not saying someone who is not awakened is kid, but I'm saying when we try to mother our partner or something to help him, whatever the stuff he's going through, that is not really helping this person or, you know, not helping him to be a real man. I hate to use that word, but really,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
they can
Well, I
stand
think
up.
one of the things we can do instead of trying to come in and rescue
Hmm.
is whether you're talking about a life partner or a child or whatever, what do you think? You know, they tell you what's going on, you're holding the space, and you say, what do you think you need to do or not do right now? What do
Yeah.
you think is important in this situation right now? And let them keep thinking about it. Let them keep feeling it. Let them keep mulling it over. All the while we hold the space. So we're
Hmm.
not rescuing, we're not telling them what their answers should be. Let's let them encourage them to come up with their own answers. That's actually one of the most popular therapeutic tools there is in the world of, psychiatry, psychology. But what do you think about it? How do
Hmm.
you feel? What is your response to this? I'll give you an example. It's like what you said in this book. My son is a very good baseball player.
Hmm.
And in his sophomore year of school, he did not make the varsity team, although two of his peers did.
Hmm.
And at first, he was a little upset about it. And, he came home. I think he was more worried about our reaction, honestly, because he wanted to please us back then.
Hmm.
And I said to him, I said, well, okay. I said, so, how do you feel? And he talked about how he felt. And then I said, well, how about this? I said, Dad and I can take all your stats because we're coaches. We've coached him for years. And so we can take all your stats and go in and talk to the coach and say, hey, we think you made a mistake. Look at his stats, right? And try to push the issue. I said, or you could take your season this year and just dominate. you could just be your best self. You're competing with you.
Mhm.
How do I improve this batting average? How do I improve my pitching? Am I doing everything I need to do? And it's just really focus on you. And I said, your performance will shine. So, to make a long story short, over the summer, the varsity coach was coaching the Legion team. And of course, he was on the Legion team. And he says
Mhm.
to my husband, he told my husband, he said, yeah, I made a mistake. I really should have pulled Steven up. Oh, I said his name. He won't mind. My son's name is Steven. He says, I made a mistake. I should have pulled him up. And I told my husband, I said, are you going to tell Steven that he said that? And he says, yeah, I think I'm going to tell him. I don't think he would have said it if he didn't want me to tell him.
Mhm.
Because they both coached together, by the way, my husband and the head coach for varsity. So
Oh.
he ended up telling him. But in the meantime, Steven forgot all about that,
Mhm.
not being on varsity, and he just kicked butt
Wow.
on the JV team. I mean, he had probably his best year ever, and I could tell that he was really and it helped him show the other kids this is how it's done. The younger ones, right? Aren't we always trying to show an example for the ones that follow us, how to be?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if I had gone to the coach, which I never would, by the way, but if I had gone, if he had chosen the option, yeah, I want you to take my stats to the varsity coach and tell him why I belong on the team and all that, he wouldn't have felt the power. And
Mhm.
I would even suggest that he wouldn't have felt the security that he earned that spot because
Mhm.
mom and dad had to step up for him. And instead of the coach making the choice. But then later on, what came back around was the coach ended up saying, yeah, I should have brought him up. So it was nice confirmation for him that he did deserve the spot. But hey, I had this awesome season anyway.
Mhm.
Whether I had a varsity or a JV letter on my uniform, I did me.
Yeah.
He found his own power.
Mhm.
And it wouldn't have happened if I had stepped in and tried to convince the varsity coach that he should be on that team instead. And may have even been a whole different outcome, you know?
Yeah. But that experience can also apply for the, ascension process to help out our loved one too. It's the same thing,
I
right?
hope so. I hope so. I just made everybody listen to that whole story. I hope it kind of translates to everything else,
It
whether it's
does.
getting.
It's more like a everyday, simple example that everyone can relate, right? The
Yeah,
same concept. Like one has to figure it out how to help oneself instead of, I mean, the other day I was telling my client that you are not responsible for anybody else but yourself. And if you have a small child, you are responsible for the small child because small child need our help. Once
mhm.
kids grow up in certain age, they have to make their own decision, right? Don't you think so, Sue?
Right, right. I'd say the only time it's actually appropriate to be a rescuer is if you are talking about a child and they're in danger of some kind, obviously. And if it's an adult, if they're in imminent danger, like their body is in danger or somebody is, abusing. But even then, I'd say you don't have to be the rescuer. You can report the situation.
Yeah.
um, if it's not right here, right now, like someone's coming after somebody with a knife and you want to, I don't know, find a big stick and save them or something. I can't even think of a good example, but or these people with the pistol permits that they have the open carries and all that. We've heard stories of them saving people in a Stop and Shop. Someone
Yeah,
comes in to rob, they save the situation. That's not what we're talking about. I think we're talking about situations where, we're like intervening in people's lives for them, trying to prevent them from experiencing something or
horrible.
to yeah, we we we're trying to protect their emotions, or we give them money so we get them out of a bad position and that kind of thing. That kind of rescuing never helps either party.
Yeah,
They help you for a couple minutes feel like, okay, I'm important in that person's life, but if you don't already know you're important in a person's life, giving them money isn't going to solve the problem.
No, that's only temporary fix.
Yeah.
I
I've
think.
had to learn that personally, so I just want to say I'm
Mm,
speaking from a point of experience in my life. And
mhm,
I was quite the rescuer. Boy, let me tell you, I
mhm.
got very burned out. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I was in rescue role too, and then graduated from it. You know, but like when even like when psychiatrists or all these people say, "What do you think about it?" In the relationship it apply too, like when we are dealing with man, it never works, tell him what to do, even though we can see the future clairvoyantly or clairaudiently or whatever, you know we can listen what man has to say, and then we can say, I believe in you, because we do, and then, well, what do you think about it? So they can figure it out,
Yeah.
you
And I
know
think that ultimately we can listen to every self help guy out there, every coach, every guru, every and then what we come to understand and what you and I have come to understand about ourselves is that ultimately our answers are in here. It's always great to get the information, but whether or not it applies to us, that's a personal decision. That's something that comes from within. And if we're not rescuing, people have the opportunity to do that, to use their own intuition, their own common sense, the brain that God gave them, source, creator, Allah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They have all of this potential and ability and tools to live a human life. Let them do it.
but
Don't
I
try to
want
do
to
it for
clarify.
them. Don't tell them what diet they should eat. Don't tell them what books they should read or what they should listen to or study. Let
Mhm.
them figure it out.
Oh, definitely. But I want to clarify about one thing, because I know few men, they're very stubborn and they don't listen to other people. So we are not saying you don't have to listen to, means you don't have to gather the information what other professionals have to say about this, right? Like in my own experience, like, yeah, I know about the relationship a lot, but I still do listen bunch of other relationship coach and what they have to say in the field, because I want to grow myself. I want to learn. I want to be helpful to my client, stuff like that. So you gather the information, whoever you feel resonate with, or someone could be saying something different but can inspire you or something, and then you gather all information and see what you can come up with it, which is something similar to running the company, right? You listen to all other people what they have to say about their own perspective and their own professional opinion. Then as a CEO, you have to decide what's the best.
Yeah. 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 And that's each of our responsibility.
Mhm.
Like I said, information. I love information. I love discovery. I love new ideas and thoughts and perspectives. Ultimately, I'm the one responsible for what I take in. And that goes with everybody. You have to decide. You're kind of on a man thing today, but I know some women that could really use this too.
Yeah, because to me, some man, like my ex business partner, he was like, I don't listen to other people, I don't read books. And then I kind of open up his horizon to n- new knowledge, some other man in business field, and then he told me, wow, like now I know more. you know
Yeah. But he
so
wouldn't have done that if he wasn't open to it, right?
yeah,
You could offer him everything under the sun, and if he wasn't open to reading it and being entertaining the information, you couldn't force it on him. And
yeah.
that's what I think is the difference, between being a rescuer and being helpful.
Hmm. And
And of course, if we're just being helpful, we don't really give that much energy, right? It's just a book recommendation or it's just a discussion. But when we're rescuing, that's where we're putting out so much energy trying to save somebody that we're just we're depleting ourselves, and they still may not. If they're not willing to be saved, they're not going to be saved anyway. So it doesn't matter what you tell them, what book you show them, what information, what proof, they're going to stay in their own. That's okay. We have to accept that and
Mm-hmm.
just wish them the best, I guess.
Yeah, because that's gonna be the learning experience anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm still very left-sided brain person, so I like to gather as much information as possible, just in case.
Me too.
Makes
And
me
then there are
feel
times where my brain is so saturated, I have to just shut it off and surrender to
like right brain.
not knowing. Yeah. I just have to say, you know what? I don't know how it's all going to turn out, or I don't know the exact answer, and that's okay. I'm just going to see what happens. Um, but yeah, I tend to be more like you, where I do want to gather the information, and I want to know, what the answer is. So I get that.
It's kind of nice to feel like confirm what you are instinctively feeling by gathering information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
But that's just us. Some people just, want to ride the wave of whatever everybody else is saying and go, okay, I'll accept that for myself. And
yes,
that's
so,
unfortunate.
but
It
if
is
you
what it is.
if you're gonna do that wave, go on the wave and see what you discover. That is another experience too, the learning lesson, right?
Yeah. It's all
Well,
good. It's all good, and it is all learning. And I think respecting other people's pace and how they grow, if they grow, what direction they grow in. Um, I believe that's the key to, unity consciousness is understanding that we're all different aspects
and that's
of
kind of
source, and we're all
compassion.
going to go in whatever direction that we've decided that we wanted to explore.
Mm-hmm. That's why we are talking about the compassion too, to let them do their own thing, whatever
Yeah.
the way.
And it's liberating for us too. So bonus.
Yeah, we are not degrading our energy to being someone else Jesus.
Yeah.
And
That's true. That's
my guide kept on telling me for I'm no longer Jesus for someone, but I was right. I was trying to be, and that was my big lesson for me. So they always told me, you are not nobody Jesus. That's what my guide always telling me.
well, let's think about this for a minute. Even Jesus didn't try to convince I mean, he did some miracles
Uh huh.
from what I hear, but he was more the teacher.
Yeah,
Show the way, walk the way.
yeah. He wasn't
If there were people
convincing.
that weren't buying what he was selling, that was fine. It's okay. I know he got angry a couple of times, whatever, threw some money off a table or something, according to the Bible. But
But I
in
don't think
the
he was trying to rescue his family member. You know.
I don't know. I do know that, the people that he talked to, he wasn't trying to save them. He was trying to show them the way,
Yeah.
teach,
So
talk,
if his
have a
attitude,
discussion.
if his attitude was like that, I don't think he was trying to be Jesus for his family member or his loved
Yeah.
one. Right.
He was showing a way to the light. And I think that's all we could ever do.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's kind of connected to Christ consciousness we talked about a couple of episodes ago, I guess.
Yep. That's it. Embodiment of the Christ consciousness. I think that's the true second coming of Christ, which is, us finding it in ourselves.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
That's, yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
So,
this
what's
is
the
fun.
last tip for our listeners? How can we? This is ironic. Rescue ourselves, not to be somebody else.
I know it is funny. Well, all right. So, best tip. So, it's kind of like whenever you get the urge to go save somebody or rescue somebody, point the finger where they are and then turn it around and point it back at yourself. Say, I'm going to rescue this one first. In other words, focus on you. Why is it that I have the need to rescue? If you can come up and understand what it brings to you, the role of being a rescuer, if you can understand why you want to do it, why you're motivated to do it, then you can resolve that and you won't have the urge to do it anymore.
Yes.
That's my tip.
My tip is very important to heal yourself, because part of you who want to rescue the other person is the part you haven't healed. So for some reason you have this attachment or urge or something to rescue someone, so you will feel better about it. That's my own experience, coming from my own experience. So it's a good idea to heal yourself, and after you detach yourself from this urge, and then you look at the person and see how you feel about it now. You still feel the urge, or you can respect the other person's decision or way, and have a compassion to that person, and you just gonna respect their independent decision or independent way of the choice, no matter what the choice that is.
Yeah, it's good. One more thing I want to add. Now that I've healed myself from the desire to rescue anymore, I have the benefit of being able to look back to people that I stopped trying to rescue. And I have the benefit of being able to see how they've come along on their own without my intervention. Only when they ask, I give them my time or my love, but I don't try to rescue anymore. And I see how they grew on their own without my intervention. And it's beautiful because they found their power. And maybe they wouldn't have found that power if I was still trying to rescue, right?
Yes, we are enabling the person, like mothering,
Yeah.
that way.
Always with a good intention. However, healing ourselves from that urge, that's a process, that's a personal process. And then realizing that we're giving somebody a gift by backing off, it's really a nice completion to that cycle. I call it a cycle. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
So therefore, it's gonna be more of freedom to each.
freedom for both, for all, right?
Yeah, toward the fifth dimension.
Yay.
So next week we are putting off this on the way to going back to the Prime Creator forever, because every single time like some other topic comes up and then we're gonna changing it, but we'll talk about it next week hopefully. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, like. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.